We got 9 games of hoop around the association today. And none of that's going to really matter because the topic is going to be LeBron James, 50,000 points, reaching a milestone that no other NBA player has ever reached, including your favorite NBA player in all time. And you had some game winners and everything, but the talk of the other day is going to be LeBron. Of course, we're going to talk about every game that took place today. It's your boy, Big Bro, holding it down, Big Kev in the building after a long day at work. We're going to discuss tonight's games right after the intro.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's the word, NBA basketball fans? It's your boy, Big Kev, holding it down as the Lakers are putting the finishing touches on a blowout victory in LA over the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll get to that game in a minute. There's no secret. LeBron James crossed the 50,000 point threshold. Man, this dude, ugh. We'll talk about him in a minute. We'll talk about the other games first because this game is still going on. Earlier tonight, Jacoby Walters hit a game-winning shot, three-pointer to take out the Orlando Magic. The Raptors win 114 to 113. Big shot from that kid, man. Good job for him. Now I know it felt good, especially when your name is Kobe. So you have to feel like Kobe after hitting that shot. He only hit 4 shots, but the one that mattered the most put them over the top. Good all-around effort from the Toronto Raptors tonight. They're going to be a lottery team. Doesn't make no bones about it, but these types of moments mean something for these young guys. If you look at the Detroit Pistons and how they turned their basketball fortunes around this year, but last season and the season prior, even with all the losing streaks that they had moments like this where the young guys were able to hit game-winning shots and get some pressure-packed situations. So good on them. Good all-around effort. Scotty Barnes with 17 and 13 rebounds. You had 21 points from R.J. Barrett to go along with 9 assists and 8 rebounds. And then you had Jakob Poeltl with 17 and 7. 17 points for Jacoby Walter, including the game winner, and Emmanuel Quickly with 15, AJ Lawson with 13 off the bench. Man, C-Dub and I are going to do an episode tomorrow where we're talking about who's had the worst luck this season. Is it the Philadelphia 76ers? Is it the Dallas Mavericks? Or is it the Orlando Magic? And man, the Orlando Magic started this year pretty hot. They were the it team in the Eastern Conference, like the Houston Rockets are in the West. And but they've been hit with the injury bug. And last tonight, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero took care of business. Franz with 28 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. Paolo with 41 points, 4 assists. 4 steals, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds. But it just wasn't enough. Contavious Caldwell Pope contributed 12 points, and then Tristan Da Silva gave you 12 points. But pretty much nobody else contributed in this game. Cole Anthony didn't play. Gary Harris didn't play. So it's just one of those things, man. Orlando just took a L, and but a great effort from their two leaders, in Franz and Paolo. And I'm expecting them to be better next season, and especially if they can stay healthy, get healthy, and stay healthy. The Lakers are up 133 to 110 with 1 minute to go. So we'll get to that game in a second. Earlier tonight, Houston lost again. This time they lost to Indiana. And talk about a turnaround. The Indiana Pacers started the season very, very poorly, and they've managed to work their way squarely into the playoff picture. And one of the players that started off slowly, where people were questioning him and wondering if he can get back to form, was Tyrese Halliburton. And tonight he showed you that he's still one of the top point guards in the league. 28 points and 15 assists for him tonight. And he was doing it all over. 5 for 8 from the three, 9 for 16 from the field, and getting his teammates involved with 15 assists. And then all around effort from the rest of the guys. 16 from Nate Smith, 18 for Pascal Miles, turned the back in the lineup. 16 points for him. Thomas Bryant off the bench and Obi Toppin with 10 and 13, respectfully. And listen, man, the Houston Rockets, they've been struggling lately. They're one of the teams in the NBA that they're upstart surprise team, but hey, they come crashing down to earth, and you know how it is in that Western Conference, man. It's usually 1 or 2 games separating teams. So at the end of the day, the Houston got to get it together, or they're gonna find themselves in the play-in. Now they did get 13 points from Dylan Brooks, 12 from Jabari Smith. Alfred Sengun is just a beast. He gave you 25.7 assists and 9 rebounds as the Lakers complete their win 136 to 115. We'll get to those highlights in a second. 12 points from Jalen Green, though, and 13 from Amin Thompson, and then Tyree Eason off the bench with 16 points. Reed Shepard, who had a big game the other night, with only 4 points tonight. So it was a back-to-back, and it didn't work out for them. So it was just a good game for the Pacers, man. They were at home. They're feeling good about themselves. They're playing much better basketball. We'll get to the other games in a second. What's up, Lloyd Dingle? Say I didn't mean to do you wrong, baby. Boys to men. Stupid man. End of the road singing that. Man, you should see how the ladies at my job, they always come up and say, "Oh my God, your voice." They be next to their husbands, just marveling about my voice. Don't be jealous, my guy. Don't be jealous, Lloyd. But yeah, so the Lakers just pulled off the victory, man. A resounding victory, easy win for them. But the story there is LeBron James. Now, look, man, you're running out of reasons to hate LeBron James. Like you just really are. If you still hate LeBron James, you don't like basketball. Like you can't be mad at this man's ability to play basketball. That's just the reality of it. He's the reigning player of the month in the Western Conference. He's 40, the player of the month in the Western Conference, playing some of the most efficient basketball that he's played in a while, and he's playing defense at a higher rate than he's played over the last few years. LeBron James tonight with 34 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal. 10 for 18 from the field, 5 for 10 from three. It's just like, man, you're running out of reasons to hate this dude. And when people are coming up with this new narrative now that nostalgia is ruining the current NBA, the fact that some people can't get past looking at the past, therefore they can't appreciate the present. Man, you got to appreciate what LeBron James is doing at this stage in his career. And he's entered the MVP conversation. The Lakers are on a tear. Him and Luka Doncic are meshing where people said it wouldn't work. Now that Luka is back and getting into shape, they're playing well together. Luka had 30 points, 15 assists, and 8 rebounds tonight, man. And Jackson Hayes didn't miss a shot with 19 points, 10 rebounds for him. LeBron James goes out there, dominates the game, and then stunts on the world by putting his son in the game at the end. Like, going out there and get some minutes, son. Going out there and get some minutes. Like, you can't really, I don't know. If you still hating on LeBron, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't get you as a basketball fan. Like, you cannot like him as a person. You cannot like his antics. But when it comes to pure basketball skills and talent, you just got to take your hat off. You got to tip your hat to the dude. 50,000 points, it's probably not going to be touched. It's one of those records that's going to be difficult to approach at the end of the day. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about the Mavs, man. We're going to talk about the Mavs tomorrow in depth, C-Dub and I. But what you want to say about the Mavs, Lloyd, just let me know. But at the end of the day, man, 50,000 points for LeBron. The only person that's probably going to come close to touching that, if he stays healthy and if he plays for this as long as LeBron, is Luka and their teammates right now. Luka is, the youngest player to touch all those other milestones, just like LeBron was when he was doing it. So let's pay attention for the next 20 years. Let's see if Luka can get a 20-year career in, and maybe he'll start to sniff some of those milestones. But nobody else is going to come close to 50,000 points. Nobody that's currently playing right now is going to come close to 50,000 points. That is insane. I don't care what you think about LeBron James. That is insane. Now, on the other side of the New Orleans Pelicans, man, they won 50 games last year, but the injury bug has hurt them this year. They're going to be in the lottery as well. Zion Williamson, though, he came to play, just didn't have any help. 37 points for him. He shot 17 for 33. That's 73% from the field tonight. He was doing it, man. That dude is a force to be reckoned with down low. But he didn't get much help from anyone other than like Trey Murphy III, 19 points for him, and Jordan Hawkins off the bench with 17. But the night belonged and still belongs to LeBron James. LeBron James, That's crazy, man. 50,000 points. We already talked about Toronto beating Orlando on a buzzer beater. We talked about Tyrese Halliburton leading Indiana to a win over the Houston Rockets, and then we go to Madison Square Garden. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors versus the New York Knicks. This is a good game, and the final score doesn't really show you how good of a game this was because the Golden State Warriors pulled away late, but they got the 114 to 102 victory. But Steph Curry was in his bag again, and lately he's been playing really good basketball too. Let's not forget that he's starting to become somewhat of an ageless wonder himself. He'll be 36 soon, 28 points and 9 assists for him. He had a double-double last night too with 21 and 10. Jimmy Butler chipped in with 19 points himself. And that's pretty much all he needed. Buddy Hield off the bench, starting to round back into form. He started the season off hot, and now he's getting back into a good, nice role-playing role. 15 points for him off the bench. But listen, Steph Curry hit a big three late and did his patented night-night and put Jalen Brunson in to bed. You know he always show up for Madison Square Garden games. OG Anunoby was the leading scorer for the Knicks tonight with 29 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. And then you got 15 from Mikal Bridges, 25 points from Jalen Brunson. But what the Knicks struggled with was making threes. It's just what happens with them. They were 8 for 33 from three. You're not gonna beat a Golden State Warriors team going 8 for 33 from three. So that was a tough loss for the Knicks, though. All right, like we saying, we were talking about the Lloyd Dingle says, I feel bad for Mavs fans. It puts the Bulls bullshit in perspective. Like, shit, we ain't them. Barnes was raised on a leash because he bites people. That's crazy. But yeah, honestly, like, you're right. We're not the Dallas Mavericks, but at least they're still, a team that can't. Well, now they're not gonna make the playoffs, but before Kyrie got hurt, they were still a playoff team or a play-in team. The Bulls are a play-in team because the teams that are behind them in the Eastern Conference are like obviously tanking, like they're trying to get one of those top three picks. But I don't know, man. The Dallas Mavericks were in the finals last season, so like I'd rather be them if I'm a Bulls fan. I'd rather be a team that was in the finals last year and going through this year than to be going through what we've gone through with the Chicago Bulls for the last 20 years. It's been rough to be a Bulls fan, Lloyd Dingle, for real, for real. All right, moving right along, the Milwaukee Bucks, they came back to defeat the Atlanta Hawks in this game. It was a good game. Dame and Trey were going back and forth. It was fun to see. Honestly, the Kyle Kuzma pickup for the Milwaukee Bucks was like, man, what a great pickup for a team that needed a third option, really, because Chris Middleton just didn't have it anymore. He was always hurt. But these guys are getting contributions from everybody. Kyle Kuzma is just out there playing his role, gave you a quick 17 and 10 double-double in 33 minutes. Giannis is doing what Giannis does, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Just here's a quick little triple-double for you. Brook Lopez is going to be up and down, but he still gave you a double-double with 13 and 13. And Damian Lillard with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and 2 steals. Like, you get that, and then you get a bench effort like you got tonight from Kevin Porter Jr., who was a steal. Like, I can't believe that they ended up with Kevin Porter Jr. on this team. He gave you 15 points off the bench, and Gary Trent Jr. is always going to give you points off the bench with 15 himself. Big game for them. Zachary Richardson, he had been playing better lately, but tonight fell back down to earth. Only gave you 7 points, 1 for 6 from three. Mohamed Gueye with 15 points, and then you got 16 from Dyson Daniels. But like I said, Trae Young was going back and forth with these guys, gave you 28 and 13, albeit inefficiently. 9 for 24 from the field, 1 for 6 from three is not going to cut it. If it wasn't for free throws, he would have had an abysmal night. He was 9 for 9 from the free throw line. And Karis LeVert, who hit the game-winning layup for these guys last night, came off the bench and gave you a solid effort again. 21 points for him. And honestly, I think they finally found that guard that can play with Trae Young. Like, we've seen so many different players go to the Atlanta Hawks and not work out with Trae Young. Karis LeVert might be that player that can win with Trae Young. We got 6 ships and they got one, and was hoping to get one with their Caucasian fella, and he had an MVP, and we had an MVP in recent years. If you considering what was that, 2010 and 11 recent years, nah, that's not recent years, man. That's a long time ago that Derrick Rose won the MVP. But I get what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying. 6 rings though, those was all in the '90s, my guy. So I'm talking about, the last 30 years have been I say the last 25 years have been really rough on being a Bulls fan. Whereas at least the Dallas Mavericks have put together a team. They put together a championship team. They put together multiple playoff teams, and they drafted much better than the Chicago Bulls, with the exception of the Bulls getting Derrick Rose. So but I get where you're coming from. At least we're not them this season because they've been hit majorly with the injury bug. Moving right along, Philly lost again. Minnesota took care of business, 126-112. It's a wrap for Philly, bro. Now I will say that at least we not Philly. These Mogs, bro. Like Paul George, Paul George then fell all the way off. 7 points for him tonight. That's just awful. You got to do Yabusele coming in outplaying Paul George. Lonnie Walker coming in and outplaying Paul George. He was just overseas. Jared Butler outplaying Paul George. Paul George is making like 300 M's. I didn't even understand that contract when they gave it to him. Kelly Oubre had another good game tonight, 24 points, didn't play yesterday. And Quentin Grimes with his second game in 3 games of 30 plus points, 30 points tonight, 12 for 18 from the field. So Dallas probably miss him. they they probably wish he was still there now that Kyrie went down. And then on the other side, the Timberwolves are just a well-oiled machine. Very well-rounded game tonight from everybody. Nobody really stood out. But you got 23 points from Nas Reed. You got 18 points from Anthony Edwards. Mike Conley chipped in. Like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double digits tonight, just to show you how well these guys played. It was just a good game for Minnesota to take care of a bad team. Man, our Chicago Bulls, Lloyd. And speaking of the Fent hit that basketball team. That feint. I'm not sure what you meant with that one. But speaking of the Chicago Bulls, have you noticed the trend lately that the Chicago Bulls will compete with you until the fourth quarter and just fall off the face of the earth? Like, cause man, the Bulls were in this game with the Cleveland Cavaliers going into the fourth. First of all, the Bulls had a 15-point lead that they just blew in the first half, but they were without a lot of players. There was no Josh Giddey tonight. There was no Nikola Vucevic tonight. A couple of other players didn't play, no Io. So, like, you get it. The Bulls definitely didn't have enough players. But to get outscored by 20 points in the fourth quarter again, outscored 43-23 in the fourth quarter to lose this game 139-117, a game that they had every opportunity to win. It was just frustrating to see tonight from the Chicago Bulls, man. Because frankly, Max Strus, you let him get off. Like, you mean Jared Allen scored 25 and 17, but the Bulls ain't had no big man. Donovan Mitchell went crazy in the second half. Darius Garland did what he does. Ty Jerome got off. It's just like, ugh. Now, I expected Montes to put up 30 tonight, but he only had 17, only 2 points in the fourth quarter. Kobe White had another 25-point night. Taylor Horton Tucker went crazy, 22 for him, and Jalen Smith for 13. But the Bulls just didn't have enough in the tank to compete with this team. Cleveland's winning streak is back up to 11. That's their second double-digit winning streak, I believe, this season. So Paul George, he definitely needs to put that podcast back up because that's the only thing that he's doing where he's not putting up donuts. Like, that dude is trash this year. He is trash. San Antonio took care of business versus the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, don't sleep on San Antonio because even though Wemby is out, San Antonio is still going to play well. Devin Vassell had 37 points tonight, which is crazy. What's his name? Stephon Castle had a crazy and one dunk, nasty dunk. You got to look up the highlights of that. And as long as Chris Paul is on this team, they're going to compete. And of course, they still got De'Aaron Fox as well. So that's just going to be good. Bismack Biyombo with a quiet 13 and 14 double-double. With Devin Vassell with 37 points, 5 assists and 4 steals, and 11 rebounds. Good for them, man. So the Spurs are going to try their best to still make the play-in tournament. Don't be surprised if they do it because they got good veteran leadership. And finally, the game that I was watching right before I came on, the Phoenix Suns came all the way back from 23 points down to defeat the LA Clippers. Man, look, the Suns have been struggling all year. This is a big win for them. They let Ivica Zubac get 35 points and 10 rebounds for the night. Jesus. He he also had excuse me, 15 from 19 from the field for him, and an opportunity to tie the game when he missed a tip at the buzzer. 21 points from Kawhi Leonard, probably playing like his 18th or 19th game of the year, and 21 points for James Harden. But they're really going to struggle without what's his name, the guy that people were saying should have been an All-Star for whatever reason. His name is slipping my mind. Hold on, I know who he is. Give me a second. That's bothering me. I'll look them up in a second. But yeah, they're missing one of their key pieces. That's why they're struggling. But they had no business losing this game tonight. KD had 34, 16 from Richards, 17 from Booker, who missed two big free throws at the end of the game. But the Colin Gillespie was the one. In the fourth quarter, he went crazy. 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from three with 10 points for him. Big game from him. So, that was fun to watch the Clippers blow that lead. What up, Rob? He says, "What up, Big Kev? That Toronto game was crazy ending. Glad the Bulls did gain one game on them." Yeah, man, that was a crazy ending from Jacoby. He definitely had to feel like Kobe for sure, for sure. The Clippers, man, they blew that lead, but tonight, for real, it's all about LeBron James eclipsing the 50,000 point mark in his career, and honestly, he could probably go for 60,000. Like LeBron is playing at such a level that I wouldn't be surprised to see him play another 4 or 5 seasons if he wants to. Now, obviously, he doesn't have to. He can retire tonight if he wanted to, and everybody would have something to say because everybody got something to say about LeBron. But on the season, this man has averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. The current Western Conference Player of the Month, 21 years in the league, been playing since 2003. Insane. And the Lakers are on a really nice winning streak to boot with Luka Doncic rounding into form. All right, we'll go around the league real quick with the records. Cleveland is at 51-10, number one in the East. Big cushion for those guys. Boston behind them. The Knicks, Milwaukee, Indiana, and Detroit round out the top six. So basically the entire Central Division is in the top six, with the exception of the Chicago Bulls. And then the play-in teams in the East are the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, and the Atlanta Hawks. 24-38 of the Bulls at 10th. And Brooklyn, Philly, Toronto, Charlotte, and Washington are outside of the play-in looking in. And it looks like the Bulls are probably still going to hold on to that play-in spot unless the Brooklyn Nets figure out a way. But they're on a 5-game losing streak themselves. Now, out in the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder, it looks like they already clinched the playoff spot. They're sitting at 50 wins. The Lakers are behind them, but they're on a 6-game winning streak. They're number 2 in the West right now. Denver is basically tied with the Lakers in the West, but they're number 3. Memphis is number 4, who's also basically tied with the Lakers. And Houston's right there, but they're in a free fall right now. 3-game losing streak for the Houston Rockets. And the Golden State Warriors are creeping up on those guys in the 6th spot. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the Minnesota Timberwolves, who could flip-flop with the Golden State Warriors at any point. And then you got the Sacramento Kings, the LA Clippers, and the Dallas Mavericks. Phoenix knows that Dallas is hurting, and they can creep their way into the top 10, and so could the Portland Trailblazers, who've been playing really good basketball, and the San Antonio Spurs, who are right behind all of those teams at 13, but they're only 1, 2, 3, they're about 4 or 5 games out of that last spot in the 10th. So it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks. Steph, I give 6 more years. Bron, 4 more years. And look, 4 more years, LeBron playing basketball at this level would be crazy. Zach finally leaves the Bulls and wins an award. Yes, he does, man. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so 2 nights in a row. Y'all give me a round of applause. She'll be back tomorrow night. Been a very long day, but I got to call in one, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us tonight over here on NBA Central. Don't forget, what position does Curry play? Point guard. Don't forget to follow the rest of the Chi-Town Sports Central family. Just type in your favorite Chicago team and put the word Central behind it, and you'll find one of the gang. You also got the Shy Bulls podcast with C-Dub and Bobby. Go ahead and follow that. And then you got NBA Central, of course, right here, and NFL Central. And y'all already know that I host Chicago White Sox Central, and I will be guest hosting for Chicago Cubs Central. My boy Big Mike is under the weather, so I'm going to hold down a daily episode tomorrow over there. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, and I'm going to holler at you guys next time. Peace.